and construction, broad introduction and construction methodology. So you all are aware that Indian Society of Structural Engineers (ISSE) was formed 27 years back by like-minded structural engineers, and is a registered private body which represents in front of government bodies, municipal corporations, and IS BIS committee also regarding various issues which are going on in the society and whatever are the complaints, compliances to be fulfilled to the in front of the Codal Committee. ISSC has organized several site visits in past to several iconic structures like Statue of Unity and then several more structures. ISSC yearly conducts its Foundation Day in January, which will be coming up in next month. And apart from that, ISSC conducts several workshops on technical aspects, like it may be a parking structure, it may be form work, it may be earthquake ductility detailing, and several other aspects in civil engineering. So I would like to just show some of the booklets which are published. This was a workshop conducted in 1999 on corrosion. Then this was a workshop conducted on ISO 9000. Then this was a workshop on shear wall. Then this was a workshop on how to use structural softwares, and several so many workshops were conducted, and their literature is available at ISSC for last 27 years. Apart from that, ISSC regular quarterly publishes its journal, which has got technical papers. ICC has got so many student chapters. In fact, today also in MSU Baroda, there is a new chapter being opened. So I welcome all the students and newly opened chapters also to this webinar. So this is all about ISCC. To know about more about ISCC activities, publications, memberships, you can log into ISCC website and get to know more about ISSC activities and how to participate in ISSC activities. Even ISSC is ready to guide you for your postgraduate projects by giving topics, by giving internships, by giving mentoring. So this is all about ISSC. And now let us come to today's workshop on underground metros. I'm extremely happy to introduce you, Shri Anand Pandey sir, for today's webinar, who will be today's key speaker. And Anand Pandey sir completed his graduation in 1988 from IIT Roorkee. Post his graduation, he worked for 2 years in a design consultancy firm, and later on he joined IIT Madras for his postgraduate course in structural engineering. After completion of post-graduation in 1992, he joined industry and worked, and since then have been working on various eminent projects and various leading companies like Mott McDonald, Seastra. Then he was a CEO of L&T. Then he is also a mentor for SMEC. And he has been working on several projects, like it was a first underwater metro tunnel below Hooghly River in Howrah, Kolkata. Then he worked on several other projects like Delhi Metro Rail Corporation, Etihad Rail project in UAE, and many more landmark projects. Past 4 years, he has been involved in Saneg Energy in the capacity of founder director. And he is like, sometimes you will find him in Dubai and sometimes he'll be in India. So, a vast experience of 38 years in design, bidding, planning, and several conceptual aspects of our industry. He is passionate about technical training and various aspects of civil structural engineering. Recently, that is in June 22, he completed his course on advanced strategy management in business excellence from IIM Lucknow. So, with this introduction, I invite Anand Pandey sir to start his presentation. Sir, over to you.
Okay, thanks Vivek for nice introduction. So myself Anand Pandey. So I will start the topic itself because I have been already been introduced. So should I share?
Yes, sir.
Is PPT visible?
Yeah, yeah. Yes, sir. It is visible.
Okay. So now slide show it's visible, clear.
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Okay, okay. So let me start. Students are all primarily from structural engineering only, civil engineering only.
Yeah, yeah. Civil structural engineering, final
Yes.
year of post graduation as well as bachelor's final year.
Okay,
And there are some working professionals also.
okay, okay, okay. Then that's good to know. So, so good morning to all of you, and we'll start this metro. Uh, from brief introduction to metro, then I will switch to underground metro. See, metro is a well coordinated and in-depth combination of various engineering, right from architecture, civil engineering, and geotechnical also specifically I will mention, then electrical engineering and mechanical engineering and electronics engineering. So all these people are involved in this whole system. Please note it is a system of transportation facilitating people from one station to one location to other location within uh, uh, urban, you can say, stretch like this. So if you see this metro picture itself, it is a coach, bogie or train, we call it. This is running on the ballastless track. Normally railway you see ballasted track, but here you get the ballastless track, and you need a power supply from the top or from bottom, and then you need signaling and telecommunication to control the operations. So all these aspects are involved. So functional requirement, the very first thing is that it is the public which is using it here. People are using it, so they have to enter to the coach and exit to the coach. So this gap is very important. This gap has to be very limited tolerance. If this gap is more, people may be trapped. If the gap is less, coach may hit the platform. So this gap is very important. And please remember, in case of emergency, in case of what you exactly use the Bhagdad, so this gap is so crucial you can understand. In a straight part, which is roughly radius is more than 1000. In curved part, track crossing locations, in stations, this has to be different and has to be matched. It is very limited tolerance. Then this gap is very important in emergency situation, fire, system breakdown, earthquake, derailment, etc. Then for operational efficiency, you don't create a metro on the flat surface because you need acceleration and deceleration. To facilitate acceleration and deceleration, you create the profile, the vertical and vertical profile also, valley and summit curve. You can see any photograph and from the distance, any metro, you can see this. Elevated metro, you can clearly see. Then you need for drainage, then flat. It has to be flat at crossing locations because at crossing locations on curve is difficult. In stations, normally it has to be flat so that it facilitates the entry and exit. But sometimes in stations it is on slope also. So normally these are the red color are the stations. These are the station locations, and you find this profile like this. So it helps in acceleration, deceleration as well as the drainage. I need to explain you to the fundamentals of metro because even as a structural engineer, you have to understand the basic things. Otherwise, you will find difficulty in managing the project. Then there are power supply for the train. Train It may be overhead, it may be third rail, that is a rail created next to the rail track. It may be AC system, it may be DC system. Then electrical cable support along viaduct oblique tunnel wall. Then there has to be power supply from the for the stations. So in stations you have to run this electrical system, lighting, air conditioning, fan, plumbing, fire, motor, so many things. So for that you need separate cables. So in electrical engineering, even these two are two specialized fields: traction supply and power supply, and within station light voltage. That itself is a three thing. Then earthing needed, because everywhere is the power supply and people are there, so earthing is very important. Then SNT is signaling and telecommunication. Signaling is important for red green light and allowing the operation, and telecommunication for any issue, communication between the train operator and central command is very important. One thing important: signaling and telecommunication and power cables run on different wall. I will show you in picture. If signaling and telecommunications is low voltage, millivoltage and micro voltage, it will run on this wall. Then electrical power cable, which are 110 kV, 33 kV and something like that, that will run on different wall. That's how the power is carried, and it is helps in operation and maintenance as well as the safety. And it doesn't create the induction effect, because 33 kVA will create induction effect for signaling and telecommunication. Even in the station, the two rooms are kept minimum 10 meters apart. And there is a 600 mm clear distance between wheel and any object. That also very important. I will show you where. If due to any accident somebody is falling and wheel is here, then this distance has to be 600 mm, so that even if somebody is trapped, it's safe. You should remember, anybody needs 560 mm. Manhole dias kept 560 mm. 600 mm is the for the person, anything. So this brief overall introduction to the metro, then I will come to the topic, which is the underground metro. Now that's how underground metro looks like. Now you people are lucky, might have seen and traveled. When we started working on this, we had never seen it. So this is the TBM tunnel. It is the mechanized tunnel. You can see the segments of the TBM tunnel. Then track is ballastless. Then this is the construction going on in Calcutta Metro. You can see the Howrah Bridge. So that is the actual construction site. These are the stations. From the concourse, it is going to platform, and it is coming from concourse to platform. These are the people who are involved in the construction. Some photographs. So this is the thing. You can see the conventional tunneling, mechanized tunneling, which is called TBM normally, and this is called NATM conventionally. And these are the stations which are created by tunneling method. These are the stations created by normal cut and cover method. So stations are created by tunneling, enlarging the tunnel also, and by cut and cover also. That will explain. Why we need underground metro and why we need, when we need elevated metro, that is very important aspect, first aspect to understand. In the picture you can see this heritage building of Calcutta, Writers Building. There is a tunnel is created just next to it. So I have chosen this photograph intentionally. Main town have some monuments, nice buildings, heavy traffic, etc. That's why underground structures and tunnels are chosen to avoid the historical city looks. During construction difficulties also there, you lose the space also, and you create the environmental and those aspects also. So that's why in the any congested areas, underground structures are chosen. Suburbs means little bit outside the core city. You can have the elevated structure if no particular landscape has to be protected. And when underground structures are necessary, the first and most important thing is choose the construction method. So that's why after broad introduction we will focus on the construction method especially. Now this is the typical underground metro. Coach will be here. This will be the platform. People will be standing here. Then this is the concourse level here. It is the different and the ground level like this, roof level and concourse level. Concourse level means where people enter, take the ticket and enter to the uh, and pass the entry gate and enter to the paid unpaid area. Now in metro tunnel at a particular in a particular train, normally 1500 to 2000 people are sitting, and same people are waiting outside. Few hundred people and 1000 people are waiting outside. So safety is very important. So how safety is important? That's why power supply and distribution is very important. Communication control security system is important. Lighting, ventilation, heating and cooling, fire protection, water supply and wastewater. Imagine a situation when the train is coming with somehow fire catches it and it coming onto the platform where already 1000 people are standing, few hundred people or 1000 people standing, and the train itself full of 1500 people. Now see, if the train stops here, then out 2000 2500 people has to leave the station, evacuate the station within minutes for the safety of every individual. If it's a fire or earthquake or something like that. So all system in the metro, staircase, escalator, safety, everything is designed to evacuate the whole 2000, 2500, 3000 people within 5 minutes. And every system has to start working automatically. That is the water sprinkler, when, fans to control the smoke and everything. So that is very important. You can't leave it. It's like a buried, like ship in the sea. In the deep sea, ship has to be fully independent. It can't rely that some help will reach it. The same is the, you can compare the underground metro stations. This is just buried ship within the land. You have to plan each and everything self-sustainable, self-activating, self-working, because the because of road traffic or because of any region, anything, the external help may not reach it. But 2000, 3000 people safety is on stake, so life has to be saved. So that's how the whole metro system is designed for the that particular fire condition. It is not designed for normal condition. Now in station planning, alignment is first important. Normally it is kept on the state alignment. Uh, Standard gauge or broad gauge coach, it is chosen in the start of the project in any city. Then what is the, if it is a uh, wall, then how much clear width has to be from the train. System requirement, that is traction, that is power supply to train, and signaling and telecommunication. Then mechanical electrical services, that the air conditioning services, electrical supply, plumbing, fire. Then egress calculation, what I was telling you, that 2000 2500 people has to be evacuated within 5 minutes. So this is called egress calculation. There is a code NFPA. From that criteria we have to calculate that all the people are evacuated through escalator or staircase within 5 minutes to safe area. Then contract provision, employers requirement, many things may be employers requirement. Location, site visit, constant, and technique is the construction method. So these things are important. Now I will show you typical section of underground section. See, this is the below the ground. It is normally 3 to 6 meter. What it helps, if there is a sewer line, any pipeline, gas line will pass through it. It will not obstruct. Second thing, in buoyancy, if it is a minimum 3 meter, then it will not lift under when the water is flooded. The area is flooded, the whole thing will not lift because it's a ship-like thing. I told you, it's buoyant. It will come to the ground with the because of water force. The first thing in underground, we calculate the buoyancy check. Now you can see the station. Train is here and platform is here. People will board and deboard from the metro here. This is the basic function, and people will use staircase or escalator or lift to come to this place. But what are the safety features, additional features? You can see there is a UPE duct. That is, whatever heat is generated because of braking and start of the train, that heat is directly absorbed here and transferred to the ground, above the ground. We call it UPE duct. From this under platform exhaust system, we call it, it is immediately taken out. In electrical, there is a pantograph on the top. You can see this pantograph here dragging against the wires. So it will generate heat. So this heat is also immediately taken out. We don't want station to absorb the heat. One heat, like friction, immediately taken out. One heat because of traction, immediately taken out. So these two, we call it overhead track exhaust system, and this is called with under platform exhaust system. Then under platform, lot of space. This is not a waste space. Lot of cables, electrical cables, power cables, signaling, telecommunication, fire, water tank. The person has to stand here for maintenance. So this clearance has to be minimum 1.5 meter. So these things are see in complications. As a user, you don't see this, but as an engineer, you have to see all these aspects. So traffic has to pass, sewer line has to pass, all heat has to be supplied so that air conditioning doesn't get overloaded, and the public goes like this. Now this is a section from a different place so that people are entering from the ground to this part, then coming to the concourse. Then from concourse, they are coming to the paid, come to the unpaid area to paid area, then come to the platform and board the train. Here you can see the overhead track exhaust system, OTE and UPE duct, and these are the cables. And these are sump. You see the sump, seepage collection sump. There will be sewerage water and everything will be stored here. Now at concourse level, what you see, you can see the equipment technical rooms. There are a lot of equipments coming. These are put here, air conditioning fan, even transformer substation, signaling room, telecommunication room, everything is double the size put here. Then this is the paid, unpaid area where the people enter to the station, take the ticket, then take the entry and come to this paid area. This is the color given. They come to this paid area. So from this paid area, they go down to the platform to board the train. So end of the stations is having all the technical rooms, technical facilities where electrical, mechanical is very important. This pedestrian movement, architecture and look is important, and backbone is structural engineering. Then at platform level is all paid area. This is all paid area, but technical rooms remains here. Technical rooms are two level. On the top, in generally we put substation, signaling, telecommunication. Here we put lot of things related to tunnel ventilation system. Tunnel ventilation is very important. If there is a fire in the train and between the two stations, train will be in the tunnel. So from one side you have to extract the smoke, other side you have to supply the fresh oxygen. I will explain you that part also. Very important aspect. Then under the platform, you see lot of ducts, UPE duct zone. I explained you. This is the UPE duct zone. Then under platform area, cable routing or the cable routing. Sumps are there, escalator pit are there. So many things are there. And this is the sump and sewage pit. You can see. Water supply, sewerage, air conditioning, electrical high voltage, low voltage, signaling, telecommunication, UPS, battery system, building management system, self-operation, and smoke extraction, space for entry of fireman, all is very important. See, in the planning is done in such a way, if you see this is a fireman staircase. If the public is evacuating from a particular staircase or escalator, the fireman doesn't have to enter from the same staircase. Firemen separate staircases are provided for firemen to enter and to uh, provide support. Because if same place public is also coming out, fireman is also going, how it will work? It will not work. So this is the one of the biggest station in the world. That is the in the Poland. I have taken that picture. If you can see, the number of tracks are very high. Two, two, six, 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 7 and 8. 8 tracks. And this is the parking, and this is the bus stand and platform. Those kind of things. So this is the thing. So I have taken this picture involved in that. So this is a huge station. So you can see this is the concourse level where the paid and unpaid area people will enter. This is the street level or road level, then platform level and under platform level. Then what I was discussing, the safety of the issue, SES smoke extraction system. If there is a train in the tunnel and there is a fire, then system has to operate that on one side smoke has to be extracted, on other side fresh air has to be brought. Because in fire, death takes place mostly because of smoke rather than fire. Yeah. So we call it smoke extraction system. They say as we call it SES analysis. This is a specialized field of mechanical engineering. Softwares are available. SES analysis, and there is a something called CFD analysis, computational fluid dynamics, which is in the station how you maintain the atmosphere temperature, humidity, which is the normal air conditioning system we see in the buildings or everywhere. That is a CFD. But tunnel extraction system, tunnel system is different. So very on safety and maintaining the ambience and environment, this mechanical engineering, this aspect is very important. Now, that's how we tried to explain the safety aspects, primarily safety and functional aspects of the metro, so that you have get a feeling of everything. That is very important. If any question on that, I would take love to take that question, because then I will go to the construction method. Or in the end only, or Vivek, we take the questions in the end only.
Yes, sir. We'll take at the end.
Okay, fine. So now I am coming to the hardcore civil engineering part, where the game of structural engineering and geotechnical engineering very close coordination, and both specialization is important in construction method of underground metro. Normally we see in the buildings or bridges and those kind of structures, we see first we construct the foundation, then we construct the ground floor, then first floor and second floor, and like that. We call it bottom up construction. We start constructing from the bottom and go up. But in underground, somebody's mic is on. Please switch off mic. Thanks. So that is the bottom up construction. But in underground, there are two types of construction. One is the bottom up construction, other is top down construction. Bottom up construction means we first excavate the whole area, then we start constructing from the base slab. First we construct base slab, then we construct upper slabs and those kind of things. Top down construction, we start excavating and first we construct top slab, then we construct mid slab. Then see in the end, two slabs are already cast, but excavation is still going on. See, the machine has been brought inside from here. People, machine, everything is important, and the base slab will be constructed at the last. I will explain in detail. So construction method top down. With this we call earth retaining system, which can be diaphragm wall, which can be soldier pile, which can be sheet pile, which can be second pile. I will show you pictures. And then we put piles to counter buoyancy. One thing as a construction engineer, civil engineer, have to understand, these piles cannot be constructed after construction. Machine cannot go. So the decision of constructing piles has to be taken when the ground is surface is normal. You have to construct the piles. Piles is to be constructed, that casting has to be done up to this part, but boring has to be done for the full part. Boring is done for full depth, but concrete or construction is done only for this part. And these are the earth retaining systems. After this, what we'll do, we'll excavate this part and construct the first slab. Then further we'll excavate the whole thing. This is there, and we'll cast this. The next step, we'll excavate the whole thing. This is already present, and then we'll cast this slab. That's how we coming top down. First cast this, second stage cast this, third stage cast this. And see if there are columns. Columns has to be cast. Also, the dowels has to be left, and that columns also to be constructed like this. So it is completely different. And many times parkings are also constructed like this, underground parkings. So in retaining system, in top down, diaphragm wall is the most common. At least in India, it is the only in generally used as a temporary as well as a permanent works. So diaphragm wall is how we construct. It is like a can say the rectangular piles. Diaphragm wall is nothing; it's a rectangular piles. So what we do, we excavate one panel. The size may be 2.8 to 5.6 meter length, like this. We construct one panel, then we leave the space, construct a panel. So alternate panel is constructed, then in between panel is constructed. Male female joint type of thing it comes. Like one panel has casted like this, and other panels is casted like this, and waterproofing element is provided. So we call it, this is male female joint type of thing is there. So diaphragm wall is constructed like this. That's how bonding is created. There is no continued reinforcement, only waterproofing. It is a locking only which retains, no reinforcement, no continuity. So each wall acts independently in design. Now, since wall is constructed, how the slab will be get connected? So we leave the coupler bar and we cast the slab. This is the slab. From there we attach the reinforcement of this slab. We call it coupler bar. This is important aspect. You can see the coupler bars in actual photographs. These are the coupler bars. After excavation, we have found this coupler bar and we are attaching the main reinforcement bar of the slab like this. If now see, the accuracy is so important. These are the coupler bars. The diaphragm wall you are constructing from the top, and you can't have an error of more than 30, 40, 50 mm, because coupler bars has to be exactly found at the location of the slab. If you don't find at the location of slab, you will be forced to drill new holes, which is very tedious process, cost consuming, cost and time and material consuming. That is very important. Very much accurate, very good accuracy is required in during construction. Even the verticality is very important. See, if somebody is constructing like this, then what will happen after excavation? How the train will run? No space. So vertical accuracy as well as the location of couplers, both are very, very important. So this required very good skill of the people working on site. See, this is a top-down construction, a picture. This is the hole created to bring down the machines and equipments and many things down. You can see the couplers here. Now this is the actual site photographs where the top-down construction is going on, diaphragm wall is being, excavation is going on, or cage will be brought down and this will be constructed. This is the photograph taken from DMRC Line 7, Narayana Station, Diwal. This is from Calcutta Metro. You can see the cage, huge, how many tons of steel cage you have to lower, and vertically has to be perfect. And this coupler location has to be perfect. Even verticality is very important, has to be perfect, and coupler location has to be perfect. Hardly there is an error of 25 to 50 mm, 18 meter, 20 meter, 30 meter deep is allowed. See how many cranes are involved in. Cage lifting like this is also rare, especially at active railway platform. Very close to the active railway platform. Safety measures. See, if something goes wrong, nothing will be left. Now coming to the bottom up construction system. Earth retaining system remains same. Piles also remain same. But what we do, once we start excavation, instead of slab, we put the temporary support in steel. We put steel and excavate. Then again, we put another steel system and keep excavating. Then after this steel support system, the excavation is complete, then we cast the first slab. First permanent base slab we cast. Construct the columns required, then we cast next slab. Then go up, then cast next slab. Like this. Next level slab, and keep removing steel support system, veiler and studs. Normally, bottom up construction, we don't use diaphragm wall normally. If diaphragm wall bottom up is generally used when it is not on the road, it is in the park, in the open land, or like this area, we use that. So this is called, one system is called second pile system, where piles intertwine. First we cast the one pile like this, another pile like this. We call it soft pile, only PCC. Then we cut it through these piles, and finally cast this RCC pile. We call it hard piles. So soft piles and hard piles, and it creates a watertight system. See, this is called, we call it veiler and struts. Veiler is running and strut is that. And here you don't have the problem of coupler and base slab and something. You can start constructing fresh. So here excavation is different, but the casting of controlling the slab and those things are much better, because you are casting later, so you can control it. This is sheet pile. Sheet pile is what? These are the jet shaped sheet piles which are intertwined with each other. Steel sheet piles. And the thing is that steel sheet piles, after the construction of the station box or tunnel, we take these steel sheets out and use in some other project. And this is a watertight system. There is a water outside, you can use it. This is actual sheet pile photographs. You can see jet shaped sheet piles at Nizamuddin station used. Hello. So you can see this struts. I'm audible?
Yes, sir. You're audible.
Okay. So these are called struts, and these are called the veilers, running members, which is acting as the beam, and these are the acting as the horizontal columns. Horizontal columns and buckling, etc. involved. Okay, and sometimes we use anchors. These are called soldier piles. Soldier pile is another technique where you use uh, steel sections like this, and then you fill this gap. You can see this gap. You put a concrete or timber plank. Where this is not a very watertight structure, where there is no not water table is at depth. Water table is not at ground level. You can use this system also. This is famous called as Berlin Wall also. The East German, West German Berlin walls were also created by the same technique. So we call it Berlin Wall also. So this is the actual photograph from Shalimar Bagh station, bottom up construction method. So this is like used like this. This is a photograph of a whaler and strut excavated the system, and this is the final product of the underground metro station. So that's how top down and bottom up, depending on the water table, depending on the soil and rock, depending on it is in the park, open area, or it is on main road, and those kind of things. Everything is possible. Depend if the cost and economics is worked out by the contractor and the design team, which is working better. Now, one of the very important aspects in underground is that whenever you construct something, whether station or tunnel, like tunnel, you can see it station also. When you are constructing this, you are taking out the soil. Volume loss, we call it volume loss. The moment you take out the soil, the existing earth pressure gets deformed. So this ground will deform. Top surface will also deform. Laterally, the ground will also deform. Water table is also there. So the safety of the existing near adjacent structures, they may tilt, they may settle, or the ground lateral ground may move. So, and when you are designing it, a station box, something like that, the safety of the we carry out the geotechnical. Here, the geotechnical aspect is very important. Now we use the softwares like Plexis and other softwares that we carry out the analysis, and we see that the settlement can't be zero, but settlements are within limits. Like if a building has can tolerate a 25 mm settlement, then the during construction the settlement cannot go beyond 25 mm. Similarly, ground is there. So now if you see the photograph, I will show you how it is important. Now see the heritage building of Calcutta. There is a tunnel very close to it. Now during construction, this whole building, a heritage building, SI is supported. So you can't tolerate, and the brick building, so you can't tolerate even 10, 20 mm settlement. So this whole building was supported with this formwork and shuttering during construction, and the tunneling was done. So those kind of things has to be done. That's why this thing is very important. Sometimes it is very critical. Sometimes what happens, this tunnel and segment is coming just under the building. So what we do, we dismantle this building, construct this, then reconstruct this building. That also has been done. It is being done. But if there is a pile foundation in the building, you can see that it's very practically impossible to take the tunnel and those kind of things there. In Patna Metro, there was a position had come, then tunnel was diverted. So when you are planning the alignment of the underground metro, you have to check the exist any and if your alignment is going below under any existing structure, it is on open foundation without basement and without pile only. Now, then one aspect is the station, what we explained, top down, bottom up. Then other aspects is the tunneling. Tunneling in under urban environment, mostly it is done by the mechanized method. We use the TBM, that is tunnel boring machine, and we each each complete circle is made of segments, and there is a key joint, thin joint. So you can see there are a lot of segments coming, lot of joints, staggered joints, and these are the segments. This machine drills, keep drilling at the same time, keep casting the tunnel, creating the tunnel. So casting of this tunnel, transporting, and this machine is automated. First it does the drilling, then it creates the full ring, and then does the grouting. How it is done? So this is called the tunnel boring machine. The advantage of this tunnel boring machine in that is the impact of this kind of thing is very minimal. This is very controlled. Then mechanized tunneling may come, hard rock tunnel, light type of machines. It is not the same machine. It depend on the geology. It is hard rock, soft rock, only earth, clay, or sandy soil, water table. We have to choose the type of machine. The machine manufacturing itself takes 6 months. So if you decide to use a particular type of machine, 3 months you take the order, 6 months you take to manufacture, then 3 months you take to install and supply to the site. So if you decide today in 2026 January a machine type in tunneling, you cannot start the actual work before 2027 Jan, because machine will be tailor made by the manufacturer as per your requirement. It is not available in the market. It is a 50-60 crore or more costly machine, not directly available. If it is available from old project coming to the new project, then its time will get reduced, which is started happening in India in many sites now. Then conventional tunneling, which commonly known as NATM also, Neo-Austrian tunneling method. So conventional tunneling, which has been done mostly in the dams, you put the drill, then you put the dynamite and blast it, and then construct the lining. NATM, you construct the lining later. So these two are two different technologies, and now you can see urban area. If you blast, this impact will be very much high. Not easy. In Himalayan geology, you can do it, but it's not easy here. Even if you are doing an ATM, you have to use through the excavation very small charge. So this completes presentation from my side. So I would say that way that uh, my message to the young engineers: let's adopt robust, sustainable, efficient, economical solutions and not cheapest solution.
Wow, such an excellent presentation in a very short time, sir. Mm, almost you took 45 minutes odd. So, any questions, audience? Yeah, so questions are coming. So let us take questions one by one.
Mm.
Yeah, there is a first question Mr. Wakas has asked. He is asking how the ventilation system in metro is different from road tunnel.
Road tunnel uh, uh, ventilation system is different. Okay, let me explain you. In If it is a road tunnel, then what will happen? Trucks are coming, and it itself is carrying somehow got the fire. So primarily you have to, the things may go up. You have to, the fundamental remain will same. That's one side supply, one side exhaust will go. That remains same. But there are uh, vents, lot many vents available. This is a now it is provided. It's a tunnel of 2 kilometer, 3 kilometer, 4 kilometer long tunnel, and you have to supply the fans in between like that. So fire is in between, and the you have to supply like this. But in train, in the metro, there are stations to station.
Mm.
There are people standing on station to station. So you have to. This is the excavation point for the people. So you have to, in the end, if you've got supply side and ex, ex, smoke excavation, these people you can evacuate, but the people in the tunnel only, those are in the danger. So you have to do that. And this is the fundamental. The fundamental remains the same, the supply and extraction, but the uh, both method of evacuation. In road you can evacuate only at the end, but in metro you can evacuate at the stations.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I think Mr. Vakas, your question is it's clear to you. Now let us go to second question. It is by Shri Hemant. Just a moment. It is by Mr. Hemant Singh Rawat. He is asking, sir, if possible, please share application of top-down construction approach and where can we see this? So probably you explained top-down construction, so you can name any place like Mumbai Metro or maybe Kolkata Metro.
If there is a construction going, underground metro construction going on the middle of the road, then 90% chances are there that will be top down construction. So any metro which is going under construction, if the station is in the middle of the road, it will be top down in general.
Yes.
So, so every project will generally has top down and bottom up both. Every project.
Okay. Uh, yeah, there is
Does
a
it
next.
answers his questions or something like else he is looking for that?
So I think you have answered it very clearly. He can
Okay.
see if it is on center of the road, it is like he can.
In general, top down, 90 more than 90% chance top down.
Yeah. Then there is a question from Abhijit Gavai. He is asking, sir, can you tell us how actually on-field settlement of surrounding building is taken into consideration without demolishing it when TBM is moving underground?
Okay.
So he's
So
probably
when,
asking about the instrumentation.
yeah, monitoring we do through instrumentation. That's correct. But actually, what we carry out during the tunneling operation, this volume loss, we carry out the analysis that settlement. You get the settlement analysis. If you do this, the way you do in practice, if this is the ground, there is a building or any kind of structures, you carry out the analysis of this whole ground. Normally, it happens between 50 meter.
Okay.
50-meter length from center, we take the whole ground and we carry out the analysis and we get a figure like this. That
Okay.
analysis comes like this.
Great.
So, so we know that exactly if, building is how closer is that. So we put the graph and plexus analysis. It shows that how much settlement is coming. So that's how we do it, and that we ensure that tunneling. First thing is that this TBM should not stop. That's the first precaution. Once the operation starts, this TBM should continue. If the TBM halts, there is a chances of settlement. So TBM operation between one station to one station, it should go continuous. It should not stop. That is the first foremost thing. And many times, and the second thing is that how we take when we start doing the tunneling. In the tunneling, there are sensors itself available. There is the instrumentation done and sensors available. So next 90 meter, 60 meter, 90 meter, we keep on watching there is settlement or not, and we keep the getting the information of the soil and the any obstruction in the water. So when the machine is operating, the continuously there is a team on the ground which is monitoring that instrument, there is settlement or not, and from the inside sensors we keep on knowing that what is kind of ground and keep on coming. And this is in control room. You keep on watching that how the machine is moving. Monitoring settlement analysis and the geology and the water table and the experienced tunnel operators, from the movement of tunnel and vibration of tunnel, they know exactly that there is a problem. That is their
Oh,
experience. From the experience itself, machine movement and vibration of the machine, they itself can feel that some problem is coming, something not coming. Because there may be shocks like many things, like water table may come, or or a clay and sand layer clash may come, and buildings may come. So those kind of things are there. So this is complete technology. People in the sitting in the control room, then the tunnel operators and those things. Don't forget the people who are working, 5, 6 people, their life is at all time stake. If something goes wrong, water enters, no chance to save these 5, 6 people. Everybody is finished. No chance. It cannot take even a minute. And if you are doing the NATM tunnel, that's the accident happened that
Silkyara.
yeah. So what happened? They had constructed the tunnels of this stretch, and they were doing tunneling here. And blast excavation, what happened? The support system here fell down. It was a gap of roughly 1 kilometer. So everybody was trapped in this 1 kilometer. So this mass fallen, this is fallen because of 1 kilometer distance. There was enough oxygen for them to sustain. Then the people started excavating, putting some pipes so that first the oxygen goes, then water goes, then after some success, some food goes. Then they had to drill a tunnel, 600 dia minimum space, to excavate the people. That was a very good experience and exercise. Fortunately, the grand salute to the whole team who could save their 100% life.
Yes, yes.
So tunneling, watching the behavior of uh, ground movement through instrumentation and monitoring during construction, after construction, every time is very important. And there are instruments are attached to the control room sensors, and people keep watching. That happens.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, there is a next question coming up from Mr. Samir Duri. He's asking, sir, any worldwide example of combined road cum rail tunnel?
In underground,
Yeah.
road and uh, my knowledge, I don't think so, because the problem is that metro tunnel dia has to be 6 meter and road tunnel dia has to be very big, like this. So
Absolutely.
this is a 12-meter dia boring machine is very rare like this. So that is the issue.
Correct, correct.
So that
Yeah.
construction is very difficult. So I'm not able to recall anything like that.
Okay. There is a next question coming from Mr. Yogesh. He is asking,
Hmm.
sir, what about stormwater dissipation system? If same will entering from station from surface, is in situation like Mumbai, very massive rainfall occurs within the short time, and Mumbai's geography is saucer type. So he's basically asking the surface water is entering in the metro. So what is to be done?
See, First
Yes,
thing
sir.
is that there are two aspects. One is the
Hello.
if it is a diaphragm wall of
What are
the
you doing?
station is like that,
चलना भी
building like this.
मोठं वाला तुला दिलं ना
So
त्याशी काढून
through concrete, some water comes seepage comes. You can't
पिशवीत बघ
stop
ना
that.
पिशवीत बघ ना तिथे कोणतरी आहे
So
असं दाखव
we create a false
आपण
wall,
त्या दिवशी तुला पाहिलं
false
नाही ते तेव्हा
architecture
ठेवलं
wall,
नाही का
and there is a drainage.
मला नाही माहिती पण आहे
250
का
mm
पण
keep
तू
for
एवढं
drainage
बोलवलं माझ्याकडे
there.
तुला
So water
शहाणपणा
comes
केला
seeping, and we start keep
घेतलं नाही
collecting.
ना
There's the
माझ्याकडनं
seepage
तू
water. That's the one aspect. So some water will keep on coming. Can't stop.
हा हा हा
And you remember in diaphragm wall itself is a
ते आतमध्येच आहे तिथं
more
घरातच आहे
issue
ते तुला
also.
दिलं होतं त्याची काढून मी
This is a male female joint, and the water, if the waterproofing also fails, the water will come. So for this we have got a complete drainage system at the base, and system is there, sump is there. So water keep on coming. That is one aspect. What he is trying to say in case of flood.
हॅलो
So for flooding,
नाही नाही तुझ्याकडेच आहे,
we
माझ्याकडे
have
कसं
to
काय
plan the station. If this is the ground level,
ते तुला आणून दिलं होतं ना मी घरी
what in the Mumbai metro and
दाखवलं
everything is
दाखवलं
planned, that
तिकडून
entry is kept
स्वतःच्या लक्षात राहत नाही का दुसरं प्लॅन
450
आहे
to 600 mm above HFL expected flood
झोपा
level,
लागल्या जागी जाते
so that, and it is created like this water type,
ताण लागल्या वीर
so
खोदायची
that boundary is sealed, so that water doesn't enter
बोलल्यापेक्षा केलं बरं राहिलं ठेव
station. Or at least, even if there is the moment there is a heavy rain or flood, the complete operation will be closed, and immediately people will be asked to go out, leave out, and shutter will be closed, so that at least by the time this 450 mm 600 mm crosses, at least people are out. People are out. Of course, some equipments and machines will be lost. That will be repair will happen. Those things will happen. But at least, so the moment there is a water or earthquake, the even earthquake is there, immediately metros are stopped and people are asked to evacuate, because you cannot take chance. In a train, there are roughly 2,000 people and stations, so you cannot take any chance. So
Okay.
that's how we take the precaution. 450 to 600 mm above HFL. And if
Great.
the water is going above that, you have to ask the people to leave before that.
Great. Yeah, there is a next question from Venu Varghese. Is asked, sir, for UP system, what is a mechanism of to dissipate the heat due to traction, etc., and maintain the temperature equilibrium?
See, if this is the platform, UP is nothing. If the train wheel is there, you keep cutouts opening in that, and there is a exhaust system. If you see, these are the exhaust system coming at the ground, and through UP it is connected. So exhaust fans are put here on top. Heat is coming through exhaust fan. This heat is taken out above the ground. That's why near any underground metro station you will find lot of exhaust coming, lot of air conditioning and tunnel ventilation exhaust, and many exhaust you will find in any near underground metro station. You can see which is running. You can feel. So any metro station will have lot of exhaust in the surrounding. So simple exhaust system, exhaust fan to take the heat.
Okay. Yeah, there is the next question. How reflect noise are reduced from moving train in the tunnel?
There are two ways. If this is the tunnel, you create concrete, then that's why I use the ballastless sleepers. You use ballastless sleepers like this.
Okay.
Then in those areas where the track is very important, track is not simple. This track has got many variety of tracks. One system is called MSS. Many times, like if you have to control the vibrations, okay, like train was passing very close to this Dhaka PMO office in Dhaka Metro, Dhaka Prime Minister's house, or some other facility, something like that. And MSS, that means the track itself is created on the springs.
Oh,
The track is not a, there are 12 types of tracks in metros used roughly.
oh,
In railway, you might see a single track, but there are 10 to 12 types of tracks. So track engineering itself or civil engineering is specialization. So there are various type of tracks, ballasted, MSS, spring, then you use the shockers, then many times use the rubbers under this. Then you use the proper springs, very costly. You create a complete spring system on which uh, rail is laid, track is laid, and train runs on that. So complete, sometimes very costly system is used. So this is a complete track technology. There are 10 to 12 types of track technology, but MSS is very common, which is the commonly known as. So you use the spring support system or rubberized systems. If through rubberized you can get control, and those kind of things are there. So that's how you control. You have to create a something rubberized or a spring system below the track itself or railway track, and then you are using the ballasted and ballastless track. That's how
great,
you use.
great. There's a next question coming up from Mr. Sanket Mai. He is asking, based on my observation, underground metro stations occupy larger area than elevated metro station. What are the technical and operational reasons for this difference?
See, in elevated metro station, you have got a train length of say 130 or 130 meter or something like that. 140 meter is enough because it is in open. One station to other station, it is an open. So there is no problem of the, if there is a fire, no question of smoke extraction system. You don't need smoke extraction system. It is in the open air. And second thing is that normally in India, the length is small because we are not putting air conditioning system in elevated stations for the public. In Dubai, you will find, that's why in Dubai, etc., you find a lot of big enclosures. That whole station is air conditioned because temperature is very high. You can't sustain. So if you see this technical room, good. First started with the functional detail. So if you see this 40 to 50 meter length of underground station, if you see this tunnel, you can see this tunnel shaft. Once the train is entering through the tunnel, it creates a huge earth pressure of the wind. So that also has to be absorbed. So we call the tunnel ventilation fans. To house tunnel ventilation fans and air conditioning fans, HVAC system. These two are not present in this elevated station. So that's why you reduce this 40 to 50 meter length on either side.
Oh,
So if you reduce this 80 meter, 140 plus 80 is the length of the underground station, 220 meter.
great.
So that you don't need this tunnel ventilation system and air conditioning system in the station, that's why. But if you go to Dubai like this, then you need to have air conditioning system. This length will be slightly higher. You create the enclosure.
Great. Yeah, there is a next question coming up from Engineer Shailesh Shinde. He is asking, many times you mentioned in India we use only that light in case of diaphragm wall. What advanced
For
or
top down, for top down.
what advanced and economical methods are used in other countries for underground construction?
So actually, what happens in many countries, the temporary system and permanent system, you can't keep the same. They take extra precaution. Like especially in Denmark and those kind of countries, you cannot construct the same if the diaphragm wall is constructed for temporary, They don't allow use to use a permanent because they feel that it is quality control is not good. So they ask you to create another wall,
Okay.
and they want to create another wall inside. So we have to create another wall. So many times what the people do, then instead of diaphragm wall, they go for second pile wall because they know they have to create a system, another system. So even for so they generally don't construct top down. They go for bottom up because they create second pile wall, then they construct like this, and then if it is in the middle of the road, they create a complete steel structure to for the traffic to move. So that's how it happens. Because in India, I can tell you from the real experience, I would not name public forum, I would not name the station, because one station was constructed, designed by me only. Because in future, next one station came in future. When this D wall was exposed, the reinforcement was concrete was not proper. So that means the 120 years life was not sustainable. This kind of
Mm.
system, the earth diaphragm wall and with the internal wall, I have generally used on Hanoi Underground Metro. I have used itself. Hanoi Underground Metro has been used by Sistra.
Okay.
So yeah, so that is the precaution you have to. You are ready to put more money considering the quality and safety uh, than taking challenges. Like in our country, also the system is not same. What we are following 25 years back, the money economy has improved, so you can have the better things. So we are still allowing, but this is if the quality control is not good, this may not work.
Okay. Yeah, there is a next question from Engineer Ubay. He is asking, what were the major structural challenges in the design of an underground metro station considering soil structure interaction?
Yes, soil structure interaction is the common, very common thing. The most important, if you soil structure interaction, real experience you get only when you do the real underground project. Now, see, this is the system. Now, if the soil spring values, you have to create the spring values. If your geotechnical estimate is not correct as per the actual soil conditions, then the bending moment, etc., in this wall and strut and forces all will vary. All depends on the spring value, K value in the which is the representative soil. So estimation of geotechnical parameters K values in underground is very important because this is going to affect the design of the complete walls and slabs and system. It may be uh, because depending on the spring value softer or actual harder, the moments and forces will come different locations, different points. So it has to be as accurate as possible to the realistic thing. That's why I put the instrument also. So when during the construction, what was the expected settlement here? During design, the same settlement is coming during construction and post construction work. That's how you verify that geotechnical parameters taken are correct. I will give you an example in Calcutta Metro tunnel, which was very going to raise to the building of the five-storied brick building of the railway officers. It was hardly 25-meter away. The Plexus analysis shows that this building may develop cracks and safety is an issue because it's old building. The whole all the officers' families were asked to evacuate this building for few months. They were put by the contractor in the resort for 6 months or a year. And when this tunneling started, the settlement from the analysis, Plexus analysis, and this actual settlement almost come out 90% accuracy. And few slab features had fallen also in the beds or something like that. So the evacuation was very good. People were taken out. Some parts from the roof fallen. So nobody was injured since nobody was in the building. So this settlement analysis from the soil it showed from Plexus that results are very accurate. And one interesting thing was that after this building was constructed, they were put in the resorts. They were there enjoying. They were not ready to shift to their buildings easily. They were creating some excuse. This is not done. That is not done. So the contractor has to pay 3 to 6 months extra money.
Yes, sir. Yeah. There
So,
is a next question.
Plexus analysis and geotechnical parameters, very good experience, and this accuracy is very important. So that's why this K value and settlement and everything has to be very perfect. Do as much test as possible.
हॅलो
Yeah.
हॅलो
So there are few more questions. So hope you won't mind
No,
answering
no, no.
them.
I will happy to answer because I have kept myself 2 hours.
Yeah, there is a question by Engineer Sampathi. He is asking why TBM is not able to remove from tunnel after completion.
सोडून दिला विषय आपलं थांबायचं 2 मिनिटं
No,
मग
we are
जायचं
removing
जाऊन द्यायचं ना
all
आपलं
the
डोकं
TBMs.
चालवायचं ना आपण
No, no,
मी काय
probably he is
म्हणतो आता ऐक
asking
ना
the
आपण 2 मिनिटं
executed
स्टॉप घ्यायचं
portion
जाऊन
because
द्यायचं
we
मग
construct
जायचं मी
a
सांगितलं
separate,
नाही पाहिजे
retrieval
गणपतला
shaft and
आपल्याला माहिती आहे
launching
ना
shaft.
माणसं सरळ नाही मग
So
आपण
why
आपलं
not
No,
to the
not
complete?
necessarily,
आधी
not
राहायला
necessarily. We create within the station.
मी काय म्हटलं तुला आता
At the
तुझा तो
end, we
बावळट आहे
create this
त्याला ती
wider
सांगितलं
part.
त्याला अक्कल नाही येणार आहे त्याला सवय आहे गु खायची सवय
If you see the underground stations, in the end it will be
कळलं
the
का
wider.
तो तुझ्या पुढे झाला कसा
35,
काय
40 meter
समजणार
will be wider.
म्हणून
So
म्हटलं
your
आपण 2 मिनिटं
TBM comes
थांबायचं त्याला
because
जाऊन दे मग
TBM
जायचं
dia
आपण
is more
निघून
than the dia of the width of the coach engine, the metro train. So you once after you start the operation, you take this out, then you take this equipment, the head of that machine out from here. Normally it is done, but not necessarily possible. Many times like Calcutta Metro or any other metro nowadays, even the TBM it is launching done, excavation done, then it is being bored through. It is slightly shifted and it is passed through. It is taken out next station. So we call bored through tunnel. Nowadays, because of congestion, you don't have the space to even take the TBM out. In the main market, the station is coming, you cannot take the TBM out. So you have to take the TBM like that. So if it is the space available, it is better to take out. If it is not available, you have to do two different technology. You have to bore through the tunnel or drag through. There is two things. One is the bore through tunnel, that is temporary tunnel you create and later on dismantle. Another is a drag through tunnel. Drag through tunnel means you have constructed the station and you are dragging the TBM. But for dragging the TBM, you have to first bring it laterally, horizontally also, little closer, then you have to drag it. So we call it either we use from the station itself you take the launching and retrieval, or you create a separate launching and retrieval shaft, or you make bore through tunnel, or you construct a drag through system. All are being used in country.
Okay.
Now in India, all are being used.
Yeah. There is a next question from Engineer Shikhar Srivastav. He is asking, what are the safety risks during TBM failure?
Safety risk TBM failure is that like
Like in
Kolkata,
case of Kolkata, yeah, Bankim Setu, near Bankim Setu.
Kolkata Metro itself, there was a railway track very close to here, and the TBM created some problem, and station was far, so they had to dig a temporary shaft, take this head of the machine out, repair it, and relaunch it and restart. That was done. But fortunately, this was an area where this was open land. It was there. Suppose there was no open land, that would have created much more complication. It happened in one of the stations near North Delhi. There was a Gurdwara close by, and it was the rocky area. But due to vibration of TBM, there were a lot of cracks in the Gurdwara. It created a lot of hue and cry. The TBM has to be buried itself. They have to leave
Oh,
the TBM, yes, and uh, devise a separate technique to do it from that side. So if you
okay,
problem is there, then TBM is buried or TBM head possible to repair. We create a shaft, take the head out and repair it.
okay,
TBM machine is roughly 100 to 150-meter long, but the head is only 10 to 15-meter long. So this 10 to 15 meter has to be taken out and repaired.
okay. Yeah. There is a next question from Engineer Rajesh Sakhrikar. He's asking, he's saying absolutely informative presentation. And his question is, my query is site is having sandstone of 15-meter depth.
Hmm.
What are the challenges we face as a structural engineer to protect the construction site before and after construction? That is, sandstone develops cracks due to vibration and it goes increasing due to cyclic load.
जल्दी कैसे आ
Hmm.
गया राजू भाई? ये
So
नीला आंखें भी है
probably
क्या?
is asking your
कल भी नहीं आई थी.
advice or opinion.
केदार को
That
मालूम नहीं है,
opinion,
वो
I
तो
will
मालूम
have
नहीं,
to
ऐसा होगा नहीं.
go through each and everything. What kind of effect is there? Of course, we have to do monitoring and grouting and those kind of things we have to adopt.
कल
But
था
it
ना,
is a sequence by
कल तो
sequence
मैं भी जल्दी आया था, 10-20 को ही था. कल
and the
क्या परसों
speed
दो
of
दिन से.
the TBM.
Okay.
नहीं,
So monitoring, grouting, speed
हाँ
of
समझा मैं.
TBM, and taking the precaution, all kind of things. Everything has to be managed.
Great.
So
Yeah.
it will be a combination of that. So depending on the complications, it has to be done.
Yeah. There is a
And
next question.
many times what we do. That's why many times we before itself also we adopt that instead of
नहीं तो कैसा
TBM
होता
we
है, जगह
adopt
साफ होता है ना
NATM
तो वो
also.
जरा थोड़ा सा अच्छा लगता है.
Mhm. So probably you are indicating the change of method itself.
Change
Or
of method itself also sometimes you do the very slow excavation, slow movement.
yeah.
Sometimes speed is very important, and that's why telling the operator has got a feeling. This is a very special skill thing. They have got a feeling. I have seen operators. I've talked to operators. It is a sixth sense which works.
Right. Uh, there is a next question from Engineer Aditya Mittal. How
Hmm.
practical challenges of alignment are resolved and by whom? Since there are multiple design people are involved in the primary level, including all stakeholders and decision makers.
Hmm.
So alignment changes he is asking. Who will do it?
No, alignment changes ultimately it will the client which will do it. So because the person who is in charge and the team which is in charge, they have to understand each and every aspect of that discussion. That's why I was explaining you metro each and every aspect because it's a complete thing. So ultimately the decision has to be taken by the client, acceptable to client because if there are issues of course, one is the technical issues, horizontal and vertical profile. That is one aspect. Then through which structure and what kind of geology it is passing, what kind of geology it is passing, and then the land acquisition issues. So land acquisition, environment, geology, and the horizontal and vertical speed. Because if you take too sharp, it will reduce the speed. And what we call, what I will explain you, there are three things which is normally not being done. I am harping each and every project where I am involved that we need to do three simulations. Rolling stock simulations. We train we call commonly in the rolling stock. Rolling stock
साउथ
simulation
अफ्रीका में
that
ज़्यादा
we
गोल्ड है
run
क्या
on
राजू भाई?
actual alignment, the rolling
हाँ
stock, how it behaves. It is not
हाँ.
the simple horizontal curves, transition curves, and delta. It not necessarily may work from the efficiency of the rolling stock. Second is the traction, the power supply. That simulation is also done. Then power supply simulation also to be done. Unfortunately, these things are not being done in a professional way in majority of the project. But these three simulations are to be done when you are deciding the alignment and everything. You start the construction, you decide which company is going to supply rolling stock later.
Okay.
So if you've already done the alignment, already started excavation, rolling stock company comes later. If you suggest some change of 25 or 50 shift in the alignment, even 25 to 50 shift in the alignment is not possible. There was a
Mhm.
problem, I will tell you, in the airport line, in the Delhi airport line, there was an issue. The excavation was already done. Excavation was already done for this, for constructing this
Redmi
cut
15
and
launch in
cover
6
box
January.
tunnel for train. Alignment was done perfectly
आपको
as
ने
per
हाँ किया था
horizontal and
लोकल
curvature
गाड़ी में
rep.
के
That was
बारे में
no
से.
error. After simulation, many places they suggested we want 25 movement. Now, contractor said I am a 15 to 17-meter deep excavation I have already done. I can't shift even 25 Even if I shift 25, 50 the whole thing will collapse. So what they
Mhm.
did, like signaling and telecommunication, many equipments run on this line. So what they did, they shifted this line slightly here, and this equipment was shifted here
Oh,
because you need a 200 gap. That was solution taken.
oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the airport line, Delhi airport line. This is
Okay.
my design only
Oh, okay, sir.
for FCOMS.
So I will just add to this thing, sir. It's like from your question answers, students will understand that it's metro design is just not civil structural engineering. There is a
No, no, no.
mechanical, there's a electrical,
Yeah, yeah,
so
and
many.
simulation. Yes, and I told you, rolling stock simulation is mechanical simulation. Traction and power supply is electrical simulation. You have to simulate. In Calcutta Metro, it has happened elevated part. What is the solution given? I don't know. The train was constructed and the track was constructed. It's a box structure. I told them repeatedly. I was working for the contractor. I told them repeatedly, don't rely on the alignment, just done based on the alignment curve. Please run the rolling stock simulation, otherwise you may face a problem. And once the rolling stock operator comes many years later, he told that this track is not working. Now the box
Oh,
structure, elevated
oh,
box structure, already
okay.
constructed, track is already there. Now how will you shift 25, 50
Mm-hmm.
First thing, how will you insert it? And if you move it, the parapet is gone.
Parapet is already
Parapet
done.
is gone. Parapet is gone. Then how will you manage this
Mm-hmm.
safety evacuation? And
Mm-hmm.
I told on the record itself, in the letter, in the many times I told them, explained them that please get the train simulation done. So two project I have got the direct experience where the train simulation alignment this has happened. I'm sure many projects must have got those kind of problems.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Uh, yeah, there is a next question from Engineer
so
Krutnika.
answer to his question is that final alignment has to be decided by after the rolling stock simulation, apart
Okay.
from other factors.
At
Rolling
least out of
stocks,
three rolling stock should be done.
rolling stock simulation must be done. So for that, you have to
Must.
take the rolling stock supplier decisions much before. You have to give him the alignment so that he runs the simulation.
Okay. Yeah, there is a next question from Engineer Krutika. She is asking, sir, how is the steel support system determined in NATM based on the rock class and based on the rock class obtained? Are there any codes available?
No, not exactly. Codes are normal codes. If there is the ground is soft, ground is not. If the ground is self-sustainable, rock is hard. You don't need any support. You need just finish the lining. But if the ground is soft, you need to have a support. Arching in soil will not be enough. So you have to create a complete structural system which can sustain it. If
Yeah.
this is a coming, earth pressure and arching will come. So if ground is soft, this system has to be sustained. This arching system has to sustain itself, the structural load. If the ground is hard, it is not to be. I tell you the two live examples. One is that recently in Pune road project, the Pune Khambati Ghat bypass project. There they have simply used uh, uh, in PCC. They have used only steel fibers.
Mm.
That was enough. And when enough the project, I have gone there in uh, Chhattisgarh. Recently, I visited the tunnel. They have used only PCC.
Oh,
Because rock is
okay.
very good. They have used only PCC.
Shortcut.
Yeah. Yeah,
Great.
just PCC. Yeah. PCC in the finishing layer. Shortcut is used in the first layer, but finishing layer used the just PCC. They don't need any
PCC.
support. So
Okay.
many
Now
tunnels you don't need any support. Like Himalayan, you go to Manali, you don't need find anything. You no support provided.
Mhm. Even in
So
Maharashtra also.
Maharashtra also, Konkan also, the not support needed. So depending on the rock class and something. So normally in NATM design, what we do, depending on the type of soil type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4, type 5, we create the designs. 5, 6 designs we keep the ready. And once the tunneling advances, depending on the geologist judgment, the particular type of solution is adopted. So we keep the ready design, 5, 6 types and something, then we adopt that. But you never know, there is a water pocket or some issue, something comes, when the trouble
Mhm.
will start.
Yeah. There is a second question from Engineer Krutika itself. She is asking, please suggest simulation software to study the tunnel behavior during and after excavation.
Simulation software, okay. No, as far as geotechnical part is concerned, in the Plexus itself, you can do it.
Yeah.
You
Even
can, you can
NMCTX is there, no?
see earlier you have got the, based on the geotechnical investigation, you've got the parameters. Then once you start the tunneling, then you know the exact parameters and exact monitoring, instrumentation monitoring values. From there, you can judge the K value parameters, you can shift. So you can change the values and you can see how the structure is behaving. So data input from the site and then it has to be put in the software accordingly and you have to reanalyze.
There
But
is a next question coming from Engineer Samir Duri. There are two parts. He is asking regarding this accommodation for the people. Is there any contract condition available? That is the first thing. In the second part of the question, is asking, sir, kindly enlighten us on the structural health monitoring of tunnels given in a long-term usage of the public safety.
yeah, see, you have to keep the instruments there inside concrete and instrumentation monitoring and settlement and
हाँ
deformation, horizontal or vertical
हाँ
deformation
करते
monitoring
क्या
sensors
नुसतं
has to be
म्हटलं
there and
KYC
sensors
करायची
has to be connected to a central command. From there you
हे
get the
ॲपमध्ये
data.
पण करू शकतो
Water seepage also, water volume also
बरं
coming,
ठीक आहे
and you have to keep the CCTV. Everything has to be monitored. Everything has to be monitored and reported to the designers or the team that these things are coming. These are the normals expected.
बरं बरोबर
So there must be a parameter laid down already by the designer
बरं
that these are the
बघूया मी
expected
शोधतो आणि
lines
तुला सांगतो
and
काय
this is the
करायचं
things coming. So
ठीक
those
आहे
things are important. Instrumentation and monitoring is the only
हे
thing.
समोर
You
चालू
can
आहे
check
ऑनलाईन
it
लाईव्ह
and connect through the sensor. You need not go inside,
थांब तुला एक
through
पाठवतो
sensors
थांब
and
दाखवतो
keep it because we call it IoT technology, Internet of Things, sensors, and then building, what call it, building management system. The whole thing has to be connected. Like factories, sensors are there, then IoT is there, then building management system is there,
बघ
monitoring
इकडे
system is there. Like that, you have to do it.
Yeah. Just Injust Sampath is asking, are there any codes for TBM design, etc.?
TBM design is a pure mechanical engineering aspect. So I can't tell you on that. People are designing TBM say because a machine design, so it's a complete mechanical engineering aspect. I can't tell you.
Yeah. I think all the question, most of the question, I have taken one question or two questions from each participant because there are so many questions, and there are so many comments saying that excellent presentation. So I think we can close the session here, sir. So on behalf of ISSC, I
Any
would
and
like to.
one or two critical questions we can take if you want, one or two.
Yeah, I will. There is one question. I
Hmm.
will just take one more. Yeah. Uh, Mr. Abhijit Gavi is asking, when it comes about UG station building and tunnel junction, what
Hmm.
care is taken when TBM is reaching the station building, considering the station building works in advance?
Okay. If if you have already, this is the station box, this is the tunnel TBM coming. What we create soft eye, we call it soft eye. If this is the elevation of this D wall, tunnel is going to come. We use, instead of normal reinforcement, we use the GFRP reinforcement. We create soft eye in location GFRP reinforcement. GFRP reinforcement is better than in tensile strength than uh, normal bars, but not good in shear and it's brittle also. So machine, when the machine comes, it can easily cut these bars. This tooth will not get damaged. So its teeth will not get damaged. So GFRP bar, we design it, we call it soft eye. And after cutting it, we have to repair it and control it such a way. We have to cast in situ part and those kind of things we have to do. Soft eye location we call GFRP bars,
Okay.
glass fiber reinforcement, like glass fiber reinforcement.
There is a next question coming from Samir Dhuri. So it's saying, sir, China flooding videos showed water almost half level of the train height. How
Hmm.
the third rail system electro induction, what is it is saying, allocation risk is mitigated?
See, the moment there is a problem in the thing, first thing you do, do the complete power, the power supply, this kind of switch you off. You
Okay.
drag the train, and those kind of things are there. And it is not human dependent. Everything is controlled on automatic system. We call it a building management system or SCADA. So everything is computerized and it is not left to the manual. So everything is connected through sensor and those kind of things. For every kind of uh, fault and issue, there is a provision given. The computer automatically switches off, switches on. So it is not dependent. There is a fire, then somebody will not wait that somebody will come and switch on this exhaust system and smoke will come. No, automatically it starts operating at certain level. So nothing is left to the human intervention, because the person itself will save his own life. How will save the other's life? So nothing left to the human intervention.
Yeah. There is a next question from
That's why I
Engineer
told you
Shweta.
importance of electrical in electronics. Everything is very important.
Right. There is a next question coming up from Shailesh Shinde. He is
Hmm.
saying, kindly guide on the retrofitting in case of old underground structures.
That itself is a subject, but retrofitting for uh, earth retaining systems or slabs in contact with the soil is a very difficult thing. Columns you can retrofit, but slabs you can retrofit, but the retaining wall itself, retrofitting is very difficult, because you have to grouting and those kind of things. It's not easy. So you have to create a separate system. Case to case, it's not a straightforward solution, but almost next to impossible of the retaining system, because you will not generally you will not have space. Even if there is a metro station already constructed, even if you want to do something from outside, there'll be already building or roads or something. It's not easy. So, but it can be done. Like you have to create a separate D-wall and separate structure and grouting and those kind of things. You have to grouting. Grouting is the only way. Grouting and micropiling are
Okay,
two
grouting.
solutions in the constant space. You can work for any retrofitting like that. Grouting or micropiling.
Okay. Yeah. Before we go to last question, probably
Mm.
there is one small announcement. In the foundation day of ICC will be coming up in next month in January, and it is a full day dedicated session, and it is dedicated to only metros, elevated and underground. So I think if students and people based in and around Mumbai, if you find time and attend the session, then probably you can get a lot of insight, because there will be some I think 7 to 8 more speakers which are expected from mechanical side as well. So that's just a hint for you and a small announcement. Now let us go to our next question by Engineer Vakas. He's saying, I have experience in working in NATM tunneling.
Mm.
May I know how can I learn urban tunneling?
What do you mean by urban tunneling? One is the tip
Probably,
tunnel. Huh.
probably he has worked in hilly areas on the NATM in the rock,
Hmm.
and probably he
Hmm.
wants to learn in a metro tunneling in urban areas.
You have to go do the course of tunnel engineering. That's all. Whether it's a short course on the internet or some professor or something like that through YouTube teaching, you can do it. Short course or actual course you want to do, then you can take up a special course from any good university on tunneling.
I
I would
think
suggest if you are
this
that much interested, you have to take up a proper course in tunneling from a good university where the course is running well.
I think Tunnel Association of India (TAI) is regularly having these webinars and
No,
courses.
those things will not make any in-depth learning. In-depth learning has to be done in through class only, through teachers only.
Okay, from scratch.
Yeah, yeah. In-depth learning you will not have like that.
Yeah, Engineer Aditya Mittal is saying thank you very much for insightful, engaging session and resolved our practical experience on site. Engineer Abhijit Gavi is saying understood, sir. Thank you very much, and looking forward to hear more from you on the underground projects in coming days. So, guys, every good thing has got its time limit and it comes to end. So, if you are having any more questions, do feel free to drop them in the our WhatsApp chat box. I will collect them by evening and I'll pass it on to Anand sir. And I'm sure he will take his time
Yes,
in
yes,
his
yes.
busy
Definitely,
schedule
definitely,
and reply
definitely.
them. So with this, I thank you, Anand sir, once again, and I
Okay.
thanks all the participants to joining and making the session very successful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.